A coffee here. Very good. How's everybody today? Hopefully good. Um, as you can see, I got my hair did. My beautiful niece, who does hair, fixed my head. Fix my head. My hair. Okay. Good morning. Who just got on here? Good morning to you. Okay, let's get started with the Kundalini rising, the exploring the energy of awakening, and let's just take a look and see what we have. Okay, so traditional Kundalini dealt with the paradox of embodied awakening by introducing preliminary spiritual practices that prepare the body for current high spiritual energies. We talked about that before. By contrast, the spontaneous awakening of the Kundalini amid the ongoing stresses of life is by no means an event that adds to the harmony of our being. Or one side, spiritual awakening leads to the attainment of self knowledge and hence happiness. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Tanya. And so, again, when we think about it, when we talk about the awakening or the awakening, it leads to attainment of self knowledge and hence happiness. This is not about feeling good. It's not about the goody feely like people think, right? Again, people tend to believe that when you're walking a spiritual path that everything is beautiful and there's flowers and everything's perfect, and it's not like that at all. In fact, it's quite opposite, right? On the contrary, it's opposite. Well, what do I mean by that? It can be beautiful, it can be roses and flowers, but you have to get through the murks. You have to be the lotus. And part of that is the self-awareness, the self-knowledge, the self-knowing. Good morning, Michael. How are you? Salute to you. Cheers if you have your coffee. The self-knowing. What does that mean? It means that so it's like this, okay? And I was talking, within my own family, and the kiddos that we have in our family, right? We're always trying to create a space of learning and spiritual growth for the kids that are in our family, and for them to take personal responsibility for the way that they feel about a certain situation. Now, is it comfortable? No. I'm probably a thorn on their side at times because I tell them the things they don't want to hear. I ask them the questions they don't want to be asked, not to be mean or entice any kind of ill intention, but to simply get them to be aware of their emotion, to be aware of the way that they're engaging situations. Now, that's what a life coach does. And typically, people don't want to be asked those questions. And it bothers them. Why? It's not because they're being attacked by the individual asking the question. It's because they themselves have a trigger inside and they're not willing to say, yes, this is how I feel. This is what I feel. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm hurt. I feel rejected. I feel like I'm not worthy. It's hard for people to express and articulate those things that are deep within out of fear of shame, that they won't be accepted, or that what they are stupid, mostly embarrassed. So it is hard for people to be authentic with their emotions and what they're feeling and experiencing in any situation. It's hard because we're like, oh my God, if I get rejected, or oh my God, if they think I'm a fool, then what? Well, does it matter? And it might to you. But being aware, right? Or saying, I'm having a bad day, or getting to the root of it. Now, if you can't look at the things that are uncomfortable and you can't ask yourself, well, why am I triggered by this? Why am I upset by this? Why does this irritate me? Why does this? and you can't question those things and get to the root of it, then they're going to control you. They're going to operate in your life, and then they're going to have some result in the way that you sort of create your life, or the way that you experience your life, is as opposed to you actually taking the bull by the horns, right, or the reins, and saying, I'm in control of this. I'm going to steer this in the direction that I want to. Now, kiddos, it's hard too, right? So a good example is, and I'll tell you from my own personal family, my niece, right? And I told her, hey, I said, good morning, Adan. Is that Adan? Good morning. I asked my niece because I saw that she was kind of getting all over the place, right? She was sort of, I could see her in disarray, and I can see that it was seeping into other parts of her life. She wasn't organized. And I'm like I'm just observing this behavior, right? And finally I chime in, because part of also being an adult around children is allowing them to fail forward. And I shouldn't say fail forward, but like pivot, right? Or to recognize that what they're doing isn't working. Sometimes they don't even realize it. So you have to kind of guide them, or insert yourself, or kind of give them some guidance. So one person that can truly handle me is my niece, which is like, God bless her, because I'm not an easy one to handle, but to be around all the time. So she's there, and I said, hey, I have something to ask you. And she goes, yes. And I said, look, do you think that maybe what do you think's going on? Do you think that do you feel organized in your life? She's like, what? And I said, do you feel like you're organized? And she's like, not really. And I go, okay, can I make an observation? Sure. Okay. I said, look, what I'm observing is that you're in total chaos right now, and it's seeping into all the parts of your life. Is that working for you? Not really. Okay. Now, here's the deal. Typically, when I ask those questions, people feel like I'm attacking, or they feel like they're being attacked when they're asked those types of questions. It's not an attack. It's an opportunity for people to open up their eyes. It's an opportunity for people to say, oh, and then start to get clear that the information, right, or the way that they're living their life, or whatever's being presented to them, is not working out for them. And that they be self-aware of that, and that they look at that information and say, okay, this isn't working for me. But children, right, don't typically know. Some adults don't typically know, because they just go on with their life over and over and over again, so much coming at them. They don't pause out and take a look and say, okay, how am I creating this? Rather than saying, this is happening to me, how am I creating this? Where are the places that I can actually shift a little bit so that I can start to get the results I want? And I said, are you getting the results you want? They were, nope. That was the reaction. Nope. I said, okay. Would you be okay with me supporting you? Yes. Okay. Here's the deal. And it's very simple. I've talked about it before, right? If we looked at the duality that we experience in this world, we can peg it down to what they call the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. Not in gender, but in energy. So if we looked at energy and we said, okay, it looks as though it's separate. So how do we find ourselves in either one or the other? And sometimes it's not that we're either one, but sometimes we're in one extremity or the other, right? We're either in chaos or we're super focused. And how do we bridge it and bring ourselves back to the harmony and peace, right? Right back to the balance, right? As the pendulum swings. And I've talked about the pendulum before. Now, in one extremity, we're in chaos. And that means we're disorganized. Chaos is disorganization. It means that we maybe have our schedule isn't the way it's supposed to be, or we double book things, right? It's kind of funny, like, when you double book stuff and you're like, oh man, I had 2 appointments at the same time and now I'm running all over the place, and oops, I have to cancel this. And it makes it look as though you're like not professional, right? In the professional world, they'd be like, well, that person was so unprofessional, whatever they say. Okay. And you're like, no, but I totally am. But I just double booked. And so really what is happening, right? What is the breakdown? Why is it this that you're double booking things, or that you're forgetting stuff, or that you miss appointments, or whatever it is? It's because you're in the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine doesn't have an agenda, doesn't have a time and space, is not focused. It just kind of goes with the flow. It's like, okay, maybe I have an appointment, maybe I don't, doesn't matter. I'm just going to be hanging out and let the world take me. Good morning, Tony. Let the world take me where it's going to take me. So you're sort of in the waves, in the drift, and you're just going with the flow, and whatever happens, happens. And you're not really concerned about the fact that everything is chaotic, that you have tons of laundry, that there's like no order to the way that you have things placed. Everything in your house doesn't have a home. There's stuff all over the place. And whatever it is, it shows up in different ways, right? Or the fact that you can't find your stuff because you're disorganized. Okay. That's okay. Happens. Is the disorganization serving you? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it's okay to be disorganized. Sometimes it's okay to be in the chaos. Sometimes it's okay to be in the flow. But at the point that it's starting to stop you, or starting to seep into relationships and cause friction in relationships, that is a reminder. The relationships show up, and you get these projectiles at you to remind you that maybe you should shift the pendulum just a little bit more. So rather than be upset that people are like, get your life together, be like, thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for reminding me that I have these two very distinct things that I can work with. And right now, I'm just a little bit more in one than the other. Good morning, Nisha. So the extremity that I'm experiencing right now is a little bit too much, and I maybe need to turn it down and swing myself a little bit more this way, where I'm a little more organized and focused. You will see the result of either one in relationships. If you are so extreme in one or the other, it's going to impact the relationships you have around you. It will. Not because not because there's an expectation of you, but because the universe is speaking to you. God is speaking through other people to tell you, hey, you're too much here, you're going to get sick, right? Too much of anything's not good. How do we rein you back into center? So you're going to see it manifest in other relationships. You're going to see it as a result of what you're being, or how you're being, or what you're embodying in either the sacred feminine or masculine. It's going to seep out into the relationships. The relationships come back at you as a projectile, right? I call it a projectile. I like it because if you've ever watched that movie, it's a good way to sort of explain that. It's like the projectiles are trying to wake you up. They're trying to say, hey, look, wake up. So rather than be upset with the individuals that are coming at you, ask yourself, why are these individuals coming at me? What am I missing? Am I missing something? Or deep inside, right? People deep inside know, like, okay, I've been super, so if you're in the sacred masculine, I've been super focused and I haven't spent any time with anybody because I just want to get my goals done. And now I've sort of put on the back burner the very people that I say are important to me. And they're upset because I keep canceling plans with them because I want to finish this project and this and that and the other. And so how do we play in the both and? How do we utilize both of these energies, right? Because we have them both. They're always going to be there. And if we're in one extreme, we're always going to try to be pulled back to the other so that we can find our balance and harmony. So how do we balance it is the question. So ask yourself, where am I right now? Am I in the sacred feminine or in the sacred masculine? Am I overdoing it or am I not overdoing it? Do I need to take a pause? Do I need to take a rest? Do I need to take a deep breath and ask myself, how do I pull myself back to center? Right? Am I overdoing? Like, yes, I have this project. Yes, it is up to me. Does that mean if I take a pause that I'm going to stop it forever? No, it means I get to take a pause. I get to relax and then I get to come back to it. Sometimes those pauses are the most important things that we could utilize because it helps us to open up our mind back into the space of creativity, back into the divine feminine where all creativity exists, where we're able to allow ourselves to continue to grow into the we don't know what we don't know. That is where the sacred feminine lives. And I don't know what I don't know. It's the black hole. It's the thing that you can pull and say, oh, that's like a new rabbit I pulled out of my hat. Looks a little bit different. It has, I don't know, 5 little front teeth instead of 2 or something. But it looks different. And now I could utilize this on the project. And now I'm more ahead than I was before because now I was beating my head up against the wall. Opposite spectrum, I'm so disorganized, I can't get any of my goals done, or I don't complete them until the end. I used to have this problem. I'd start something and almost always would never finish it because I'd be like, ooh, next project. I like shiny things, right? I'm like, ooh, scroll, ooh, this, ooh, that, ooh. And then I wanted to do everything because it was all exciting. But then once I got it down and I was like, yeah, I kind of get the basics of it, I'd get bored and be like, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. And not finishing till completion. And this was an issue I had when I was younger. And now, as I grew into my spiritual practices, as I grew into it, I started to say, okay, I need to finish this till the end. Even if I'm getting bored, finish it till the end. Follow through on it till the end. So some people have those issues, right? Where they don't follow through till the end. They sort of start something and then their projects just spit. Finish one thing. So that's the sacred feminine. And I could be in sacred feminine quite often where I'm just kind of all over my creativity everywhere. But also there's parts of my life where I'm overly in the sacred masculine and I have to draw it back into the sacred feminine. But it's the awareness, the self-knowledge, right, that gives us the opportunity to understand that. So when your relationships feel like they're going south, ask yourself these questions. It could be just that you need to adjust. Everybody in my life is like, Natalie, you're too hard on yourself, okay? And I'm hearing it from more than one person. And I'm like, okay, let me look at that. So if you're hearing the same thing from multiple people, you might want to kind of look at that. They're probably not there to be mean. They're there to wake you up so that you can be self-aware, so that you can then say, okay, how do I? So whatever that is for you, if your friends or family are telling you something and you hear it from more than one person, question that. Don't dismiss it. Ask yourself, am I? Yeah, maybe I am. Is it serving me? Not really. Do I want these relationships? Yeah. Do they matter to me? Yes. Okay, so how do I make this work? What do I do to create a win-win situation for everybody? Maybe if I'm working on a project, but I'm not dedicating or giving the time to the people that I love, how do I say, okay, I'm going to set aside 3 hours out of the week, and in those 3 hours, I'm going to make sure I'm 100% with them and disconnected from the work and spend quality time with them. Or how do I take this project and finish it till the end? What is it that I need to do? How do I get to be in a space of total focus if you're not focused? So the opposite, right? And then bringing yourself back to the middle point. But it's the self-awareness, and it's allowing the projectiles to sort of guide you. People are there to wake us up. It feels harsh at times. I get feedback, not a big, but I don't know that anybody, I like feedback, but I'm not, it's like, feels like daggers in my heart sometimes. I'm like, oh, don't give me feedback. But then I'm like, okay, I have to listen because this is going to help me grow. And it's not always, you want to be, I'll say I don't know about you, but I know I like want to please people. And I'm like, I want to be liked. I'm nice. I'm a good person. Why don't you like me? I don't understand. right? But that's not the case. It's not always the case. And it doesn't need to be the case. So if an individual, is giving you feedback, it might feel like you're going through pure hell. You may not even want the feedback, but you're getting it anyway. And it feels like a dagger in your heart, but also it's an opportunity for growth. It's a growth potential. So don't dismiss it. Really be with it. And if it triggers you more than ever, ask yourself why. Maybe you're just not being honest with yourself about something. I've had too many of those where I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear it. I think I'm the nicest person on the planet, but really I'm not. To some people, I'm a jerk. And I'm like, oh, but why? What did I do? Please tell me. And, you want to make it right. And sometimes it's just, you can't make it right. Some people just don't like your aura, your energy, and that's fine. So use it as an opportunity. And sometimes those ones, good morning, bestie. I didn't see you on here. If I don't say good morning, it's because I honestly don't see you show up. So please say good morning so I can say good morning. Cheers to you, bestie. But the self-awareness is the biggest thing, the self-knowing, and then understanding that you have the tools, the sacred masculine and feminine is huge. It's a huge one. Like I literally have practices. I know when I'm too far in the masculine and too far in the feminine. I know. And then I'm like, okay, I know what practices I need to do to bring me back to center. Once you have those practices there, you are able to create and follow through on any project, anything that you're doing it may take time, but anything that you want to create, if you know how to use these energies, you'll do it. You'll create it. You'll create exactly what it is that you want to create. Because when we're working on a project, sometimes things get super disorganized and we feel like we're not making any progress. And sometimes we just need to clean things up so that we can see through the murk. Clarity, finding the clarity so we can find our focus, right? If we start to it's like, imagine this. Imagine like being in the forest, right? And you're cutting down the trees because you want to pave a path, right? And the trees are coming down. That's probably not a good one, but because I love trees and I'm like thinking about cutting down trees make me cry. But okay, we're cutting down trees just for the sake of seeing it. And all these trees are falling on the path that you're trying to create and you can't see it. You're like, whoa, now how do I make this path? All these trees are in the way and I can't see like where I'm going. Well, then to get clear about where you're going, you got to clean up the trees. And that's like, okay, one tree at a time. Now I got to take this tree, move it over there, move it over there, move it over there, move it over there. And before you know it, there's this clear path. And then more trees come down, and then you got to clear the path. And then more trees come down, you got to clear the path. What's the same with our life? When we're working on a goal, when we're working on our life, when we're working with relationships, all this fog comes up, and then there's not clarity, and then you got to get clear. And then once you're clear, you can move a little bit further. And then you have to clear out the debris. And then you got to get a little bit clearer. And it takes time. Sometimes it takes forever. Sometimes it feels like you're never going to get there. And you may not. It may be just a journey that you're on for the rest of your life, which is fine. But the clearer that you become, the wiser that you become, it's like, oh, well, I know that if I cut the tree this way, it's going to fall this way, and it's going to make it harder for me to take it out. So then you learn something and you get a little faster at clearing up the debris. That is your life. Your life is a mess. Your life is trees falling in front of you. There's haze, there's murk, there's all these obstacles, all of this stuff, debris that you have to clean out. But when you learn to clean it out and you learn tricks to get you there faster, you start to master your world. And then your goals become closer. They become more real. It's almost as though you can touch them. And then the next round becomes faster. And the next round faster, and the next round faster. And before you know it, you have this big, beautiful thing that you've created. You got to clear the debris, though. You've got to clear the murk. You've got to allow yourself. I get to allow myself, okay, taking personal responsibility, clear the murk, Natalie. Clear out the murk in your mind. And I do this as a practice. I do. Like right now, and I'm talking about it too because I'm working on goals. I have these new goals that I'm working on. And I'm getting clearer about what I want to do for the next part of my life. Good morning, Omar. Hi, how are you? Cheers. And I have new goals that I'm working on. And in those new goals, right, I have to be very clear about what it is that I want to create. I have to understand and be clear so that I can clear out the murk. It's going to be a challenge because you're going to have all this haze comes again, and then you have to clear it out. And then the haze comes and clear it out. And it gets exhausting sometimes too. And that's why people give up on their goals and dreams because they're it's like there's a cool I don't know if it's a meme, but it shows the person like trying to mine diamonds, right? And it shows the person like going through the debris and maybe finds a little jewel. And then they go through the debris and they go through the debris, and one person just gives up. Like, I'm not going through this debris anymore. I'm done. Tired. It's exhausting. I'm just going to not go through the mess anymore. This isn't real for your life. Okay, the connection between that meme and what this is, it's a direct connection. Why? Because we just needed to clear the debris just a little bit more to actually get to the goal that we were trying to reach. But it does get exhausting. It's okay to take a break. Like if the miner just took a break instead of walked away forever and just said, hey, I need like a day or two just to rest, and then came back again. Now, he may not have hit the goal as fast as the person who just went treaded through, but he still hit his goal. It may have took longer, but he still hit his goal. The intention was there and the goal was there, and still hit the goal because why? Didn't give up. But it feels like we should give up sometimes because why? Because there's so much haze, so much murk, so much fog that we can't see through. So many obstacles, so many people saying stuff that we can't do this and we can't do that and this and that and the other and and it just grows and we're like, I can't get through this. I can't do it. Just give up, walk away. When really all we need to do is just go one more step further, and boom, there it was. That's where the motivation comes from, knowing that you'll hit your goal if you keep going. The intention and the declaration of how you get to move through your goals is what will get you through the goal. Keep on that, right? And allow the world outside of you to guide you back into utilizing the sacred feminine and masculine. Your relationships, every relationship you have, is the opportunity to wake you up and to sort of steer you back on track. Every relationship you have, it's God reminding you to wake up. Wake up and start to use your goals. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. So much has happened. I said to wake up a long time ago. Why? Because it is time. We have the opportunity now more than ever to create the very thing we said we wanted to create. We've been given a time out. What is created in the next months is up to us, not up to the government, not up to other people. It is up to us to create it. What are you creating? What is it that you choose to create? You've been given time. You've been given time. That time is valuable. How are you utilizing it? Super critical, right? But we've been blessed with time. That's cool. That's really cool, actually. On the other spectrum, yeah, we're going through all this craziness, but what have we been gifted? We've been gifted time. Can't get that back. but we've been given it, and we've been given a timeout. Take your time out, take your time, and ask yourself, what goals am I working on? What am I creating? Am I really digging deep into my spiritual practices so that I can bring myself back to my divine birthright? How do I get back to my divine birthright? I'm doing good, Omar. Thank you for asking. Hi, Vinny. I don't do call-ins because I have a live video that I do on Facebook, and they would not be able to see or hear. So I do, if you are wanting to call in for coaching, what exactly are you calling in for? If it has to do with like coaching and spiritual support, you can reach me at spiritandbrew@gmail.com, and I can set up a one-on-one call with you if that's something that you're asking. I don't know exactly why you're calling in, but if that's why, we can do that. Good morning, Reggie. Bring yourself to center. Good morning, Suzanne. Bring yourself back. Let the pendulum sort of hang out in the center if you can make it. If you need to bring in one extremity or the other, ask yourself what extremity you're living in now. Because if you're calling forth an extremity of focus and drive and motivation, it means that you're hanging out in chaos, disorganization. I shouldn't say it like that. You're hanging out in the flow. You're hanging out in the flow, right? And the flow that you're hanging out in is not really serving the goals that you're trying to attain. So you're trying to pull in the sacred masculine to help guide you, to keep you focused. So right now you're probably in an extremity of far, what is it? The right, far right. You need to be a little bit more left. So pulling it in and asking yourself, what part of my life? Listen to what the projectiles are telling you. You're going to have people that are going to get upset when you're in one extreme or the other, because they're calling forth the energy that you need in your life. So when people are upset with you, when people, again, are mad at you, well, just wanted to chill, to be fair. Your topic you're talking, just wanted to chill. I'm not sure what you mean by chill, to be fair. You could write what it is that you want to say, and I'll say it, and I'll try to decipher what you're saying. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good. I get pretty on point to, I think, what people are trying to articulate or express. Sometimes I'm off, of course, human. To be fair, I just wanted to join in the discussion about the topic you're talking about. Great. So obviously you have a connection to understanding the two are the energies that we can utilize to attain goals, is what I'm getting, Vinny. That you're perhaps very good at doing that, or you have questions about doing that. Is that correct? The projectiles. I want to continue with this. The projectiles, again, your relationships. Your relationships, if they're mad at you, it's probably because you're hanging out in one extremity or the other, and they're really just trying to support you. It's really just God's trying to wake you up, and it feels very uncomfortable sometimes. That's it. So rather than be upset with people who attack you, or it feels like an attack, ask yourself, okay, why? What energy am I putting out there that I'm receiving this type of information? Do I get to shift my energy into something that is supportive? Because am I too far left or too far right? Am I too far in the sacred feminine and masculine? And do I need to sort of bring myself right back to center? Is that what God is saying? Because God will express through other people. We're putting off an energy, we're getting feedback from others. If the feedback is not really what we're trying to create, but it's still showing up, then we get to look at ourselves, right? Be self-aware. Or don't. Totally up to you. And say, how do I adjust? How do I adjust what I am creating? And then once you do that, you start to synergize the relationship, right? Or synergize your life force. And then you start to create this beautiful thing in your life. So there you have it. Again, Kundalini rising. And I just exploring the energy of awakening. Great book. We'll continue to read and discuss. And hopefully you guys will utilize this information. I'm going to start working on my goals for what's next in my life. I hope that you guys are doing the same, which I'm sure you guys are or not. Even if you're not, that's fine. Um, but another opportunity to utilize this energy and to be self-aware and to understand that people are not attacking you, but maybe they're just waking you up so that you can realize that you're kind of going this way when you need to go that way. Okay. Good. Awesome. Um, hey, how's the dating thing going, especially during these times? Thanks, Nisha, for the question. Um, well, so I'm not gonna get on dating apps. I don't know. It just feels too superficial. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like to be, I don't know. I have to do things Natalie's way, which is not necessarily the conventional way. No, I mean, I don't know if it's a conventional. I don't know what it. That's probably not the right word. Here's the thing. Yes, naturally, and I think that in a world of digital connection, it's naturally becomes harder and harder because most people are. Look at me. I'm on digital media right now, so it becomes very hard. It just becomes a challenge to. I feel like meet people. There's people that will show up on Facebook, this, that, the other, but literally you don't know a person until you spend time with them. Like you can message people, but until you're in their presence, because there's an energy that text messages or these messages do not put off. But do you feel energetically connected to an individual? That's critical. Like for me, and I'm a very good reader of energy. And also, I feel in the world of dating, I'll just go off on this a little bit. It's really hard to find individuals, I feel, for me, that want to grow something meaningful. It's more of a surface level, artificial sort of, I don't know, like, let's just, like, I don't know, sleep together, whatever it is. And I'm not like that. So it's not really the best situation for someone like me out there. And I don't know that people want to take time out to get to know each other. I don't know. I just don't feel it. I feel like I've been, and I personally cannot, I'm not that kind of a person. I'm just not. I want to get to know a person. I don't want to just insert any energy in my field, right? Because my energy is sacred and that's sacred between two people. And I don't want somebody to come in and have some ill intentions or some ulterior motive of, oh, I just want this or that from this person rather than actual love and understanding and connection and compassion and, you know, um, and communication and a way to connect with an individual. I think it's super critical. But, this all sounds very lofty. I know relationships are not easy, but at least someone who can practice authenticity and vulnerability and communication and speak and communicate like an adult, which I think is really hard to find because I just feel like people bail out on themselves. Everybody gives up on everybody so easily. It's like, oh, they did this one thing. Oh, well, next. And it's like, wait, but why are we going to sell out on individuals like that? Why can't we work together? Like in our family, if there is something that comes up that we are uncomfortable, we sit around and we talk about it. We have a whole conversation around it until we come up with a complete understanding of the other person's point of view and our point of view. And then we come to a consensus. And I just don't know that people communicate that way as much. Or I'm saying in relationships, it's really just complicated because people don't. They just sell out on each other. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, whatever, I'm done. I don't want a relationship like that. I'm very clear about what I want. And then I can tell right away an intention, right? My thing is, what's your intention? What is your intention? If it's just to sleep with me, I'm the wrong person. There's plenty of people out there that are okay with that. I'm not. That's just not me. No judgments, just not me. That's not how I roll. I believe in love and now and I also believe in being with that one person. No, is it forever thing? I don't know. That I don't know. That I can't say. Are you with the one person forever? Maybe not, but I think what happens is people bail out on each other. They don't communicate and they sneak behind each other's back, afraid of the consequences of what might happen if they express that maybe the love has fizzled out. And I don't want to say the love, but maybe the sparks have fizzled. And now what? You're left with what? And then they go on to the next thing. And then they're doing it behind your back and there's cheating and all this stuff happens rather than communicating like two adults and saying, look, here's what's going on. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I might be want to see some other people because this isn't working. Too afraid to communicate that. I don't want someone like that. I want to be able to communicate that. There you go. I'm like telling you my whole life story on here. Thanks for asking, Nisha. So it's just a complicated thing. Um, the dating normal is a little different these days. Yeah, I totally understand. Yes, I want to as well, but I really don't know where to start. Oh, good, Nisha, you're on the same path as me. Um, I just think getting clear. So here's what I'm doing, getting very clear about what I want in a relationship. What is it that I choose? What is it that I won't compromise? Am I okay with having a relationship with someone that's not doesn't look like a traditional relationship? Like, I don't need people to define what my relationship looks like. Society's defined it, and I think that's a big issue as well. I think our society has totally defined what every relationship should look like, and the reality is that not every relationship's the same, and two individuals that are adults and intelligent enough to come together and sort of create what works for them, I think is the best way to and it may not look the same as everybody else's, and that's great. That's the way it should be because it's a bond between two people, not the whole world. It's like they're coming together and whatever rules and da 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 that people say that there has to be, by who made up the rules of relationships, right? I mean, there's spiritual rules and stuff like that, but I'm talking about like how it should look. Like, do you have to be together all the time? No. I don't want to be up someone's ass every day, and I don't want someone up my ass every day. I've been alone for too long. I'm like, yes, I have my goals, you have your goals, but we can come together and we can support each other. So getting someone on the same page as you or that's already on the same page is not an easy task. But I'm working on it and I'm open and I've been I'm opening myself up and being vulnerable in a way that I haven't been before. And so I'm excited about that. And it's uncomfortable. And I suppose that I get a little like like a child, because it's been, very long time and stuff. So I don't know, Isha. We shall see. You can, if you choose to, get on dating apps. Like, for me, it's not comfortable. For me, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to put myself out there like that. It just feels too. I feel like it's too open book, right? It's like, oh, let me give myself to the whole universe, and it's like, meh. Yeah, it's too much. And it's I will never do it. This is not going to happen. It's not me. I'm okay with that, and I'm also okay with perhaps ending up by myself because I don't do that, and that's a compromise, I guess, that I have. I don't know. I trust the universe. But I can continue talking about my journey too because I'm vulnerable and I'm open and I'm authentic. I'm nothing to hide in my life ever. That's why I can be on Spirit and Coffee, because I really am a boring person at the end of the day. Not really a lot. My life is very drama free. Not a whole lot going on in my life except for goals and this and that and the other. But, I'm okay with being an open book because, again, there's no secrets here. I just follow God's law. It's pretty simple, but not so simple, if that makes sense. So there you have it. Thanks for all the hearts and love. Um, but I am looking. So I just want, some people are so mean. Yeah, Omar, they are. Some people are so mean, but there are some people who are so nice and so beautiful as well. So we have both, right? So I will continue on my journey of perhaps, dating or finding a partner. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's a mystery to me. But it's out there and it's in the universe. And Nisha, I will totally support you in any way you need support. Um, we will go through this together. Um, and I know that it's been a challenge um, to find people who are truly honest and authentic. But the way that we get around that, and the way that I get around this, Nisha, is if let's say, for instance, as a guy wants or is coming, wants to take me on date, whatever it is. My question is, and it's very bold at the beginning, is what is your intention? What's your intention with me? What is it that you wanted? What is it? And literally, it throws people off. Well, what do you mean? Like, oh, I just, and I listen and I watch and I'm like, okay, your intention is just to maybe just sleep with me. Not going to happen. Wrong person. I can smell you out from a mile away, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. But I'd like to when people are honest, and then I can open up a friendship and be like, oh, cool. Well, just not that kind of a person. Right. So asking their intention, Nisha, is really huge. What is it you want to create? Are you wanting a relationship or not? Or are you just sort of like this person who and then they'll tell you, and then you'll be like, okay, not for me. It's okay. Not a problem. Cool. You're awesome. I love you. You're a beautiful person. Boom. Keep going on with your goals. I can support you. I can be your coach. What do you need? You need some motivation? You need a high five? You need a hug? We got it. So there you have it. And thank you for asking. I appreciate it. But yeah, let's support each other. That's what this is about, support. So all of those people that are looking for relationships, good luck. Get clear about what it is that you want in relationship. Get very clear about what you're not willing to compromise. And don't just settle because you're afraid to be alone. Like, I'm okay with just being alone for the rest of my life. Do I want a partner? Yeah, of course. Definitely, I do. And what you're saying has definitely been my experience. Yeah. Oof. Crazy, right? Just feel like we should start a support group to understand what is going on in the world when it comes to being with a person and connecting and being able to go through life with a person who's ready to go with it, go with you and experience this thing. But who knows? But salute to you guys. I believe that God, you know, is there. Like I said one time too, this one last thing, I was like, you know what, God, we'll be in a relationship. I'll just be in a relationship with God for the rest of my life. Anywho. All right. So I love you guys. Happy Monday. Have a magnificent, magical, marvelous, magnetic Monday. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Love you. Bye.